Sometimes I wonder if Elon Musk could go back in time if he decided to not have this event at all, or at least alter expectations a little bit. But yeah, one thing that was bizarrely not mentioned when the Tesla Semi was unveiled was the weight of the vehicle. Yes, this is crucial. I've seen countless videos talking about how stupid it was for Tesla to talk about the 0 to 60 time for a semi-truck, given no truck driver should be flooring the accelerator to 60, but at the same time not talk about the weight of the vehicle, which does actually matter quite a bit to those who are planning on buying one, because there's a certain amount that federal governments require the entire truck to weigh with cargo, and that means that because electric vehicles and the electric semi-truck is so much heavier than a typical diesel semi-truck, that means the payload that the semi is capable of carrying could be much lower than that of its competitors. Now, I personally think there's a good reason why Tesla did not disclose the weight, and it's likely because the prototypes are very different from the finalized products. As we've seen in the past, Tesla likes to over-deliver on their production models. They usually don't prioritize timelines, so that usually means we don't care if we end up being late. We don't mind if our products show up to market years behind schedule, but we will prioritize the finalized design that's actually coming out of a factory to be better than the prototype. And there has now been a lot of time between the prototype unveiling of the Semi and now us getting closer and closer to the production model, and I think there could have been a lot of changes within the past 3 years that would benefit the Semi. And a lot of this comes down to what the battery packs are actually going to have capacity-wise, because there's some people speculating that, okay, 2 kilowatts per mile, that means that if it's a 500-mile range, we should expect around 1 megawatt-hour battery packs to be built into the Tesla Semi, which is quite a bit, and we can calculate based on the way current battery packs are built with Teslas on how much weight that could contain. But there is, once again, a lot of information writing on Battery Investor Day. If it's true that Tesla is working on new battery chemistry, new cells, different sizes, and different built modules that are currently going into their electric vehicles, that could mean the battery packs that were unveiled with the prototype could be totally different from the battery packs going into the production models, which could mean a big difference in overall weight. But I agree, it would have been nice if Tesla would just at least give us a little bit of a ballpark. So obviously they did give us range to work with, and they did tell us the mega chargers could recharge 400 miles of range in 30 minutes, and I'm sure with the production model they want to beat these advertised specs. All the numbers they give us at an unveiling are numbers they feel confident about, and more than likely will beat when the production model comes. So it would have been nice for Tesla to give us a weight that most companies could see and work with, and then say, in time, we hope that the production model weight will be lower than that, so of course payloads can be maximized. But something I've brought out with the semi-truck videos in the past is that just because this is the first Tesla Semi does not mean it necessarily applies to every single diesel semi-truck driver. In a lot of ways, I compare the Tesla Semi to the original Tesla Roadster. It's trying to send a message. It's trying to beat a stigma. Could the original Tesla Roadster beat every other gas car on the road? No, it's a sports car. It's expensive and it's fast and it's fun, but at the same time not practical for most people, and not exactly in that same way. I think we should look at the Tesla Semi somewhat similarly. It's Tesla trying to send a message and trying to prove, hey, you can make an electric semi-truck, and can it replace every single semi on the road? Not necessarily. Maybe there's some certain truck routes that it won't make much sense, especially those going way across the country, because you'll have to stop and you'll need mega chargers, and the weight could limit certain companies' payload capacity with semi-trucks. But I also think people that are acting like the Semi has this massive problem because we're not sure what the weight is, and people are estimating it's going to be well over 20,000 pounds. That may be, but you're also assuming every semi-truck on the road is hauling at max capacity at all the time. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there's a lot of companies that are hauling stuff that doesn't reach the absolute maximum of what every single diesel semi-truck is capable of carrying. There's a lot of companies that are carrying stuff that is not at max capacity, and at the end of the day, what really matters to commercial companies, and the primary reason they're investing in the Tesla Semi, way back 3 years ago, we were seeing indicators of well over 500 Semi reservations from different various brands. They were willing to put $20,000 a pop down on these things because the cost is what matters more than anything. How much payload you're able to put in the back of the semi-truck isn't as important as how much it costs to move that payload. So what I'm trying to say is, even if the Tesla Semi is not capable of carrying as much stuff as a diesel Semi, we know objectively that it's going to be able to transport that much cheaper than filling up a giant diesel gas tank. And as Elon talked about at the event, a lot of semi-truck routes are under 250 miles. So if you can go 500 miles at full capacity, that means you can deliver your cargo and make it back. And by the way, on the way back, the the semi is going to be hauling a lot less material than before, so expect the range to be prolonged in that way as well. The emphasis on the semi is not about how much it can carry more so than it is how much it can carry at this price point. And money talks, and that's what companies that are buying these semi trucks are caring about at the end of the day is, hey, we found a way to, in an eco-friendly manner, and they'll probably get some eco subsidies for buying electric semi trucks. And if now they have to run more semi trucks to deliver the same amount of payload, yeah, that means the upfront cost of the semis might be a little bit higher than diesels. But if they don't have to pay for all of that diesel gas to run those trucks all day, and they can now much more affordably, not to mention much more safely, which should matter to more and more corporations because of all the autopilot sensors and all of the safety measures and low center of gravity and jackknife prevention the Tesla Semi has, having a lower payload will not outweigh the benefits of a cost-saving vehicle. So, like I said, the Tesla Semi, I don't think Tesla is even expecting this to replace every single semi-truck on the road, but similar to the Tesla Roadster, it's to showcase that you can do it. You can make high-powered, heavy-duty electric vehicles that can move lots of cargo from place to place in a cost-effective manner, and in time, as energy density gets better, as Tesla is able to scale production and scale batteries and minimize the effects of degradation with charging and outputting that much power from the giant battery packs these things have, in time, I think Tesla would like the Tesla Semi to be capable of replacing every semi-truck on the road, but expecting the first generation of Tesla semi-trucks to be able to tackle every single use case, I think is a little bit unrealistic. And yes, the weight of the semi, I'm sure, will be much higher than that of a diesel truck and minimize the amount of total cargo it's capable of carrying. But ultimately, the amount of cargo is not as important as the cost of moving that cargo. So if big companies are spending millions of dollars on their current diesel semi trucks, and they're now able to say, well, if you bought a little bit more trucks, you could minimize your operating expenses by 80%, I think they'd be okay with buying more vehicles to move the same amount of cargo if they end up spending less to maintain them. No oil changes, less brake pads, armored glass so you don't have to replace the windshield as much, safer vehicles, which ultimately is better for humanity and the truck driver. You might even argue you need less training to learn how to drive the Tesla Semi because of how simple it is. But of course, none of this even takes into effect the idea that Tesla wants to start bringing full self-driving technology to the semi-trucks so that eventually you can have convoys of these things and have multiple trucks moving cargo, some without even people inside them. And that takes us into our debate of when full self-driving will be feasible and possible. But if it was, as Elon said, it could beat the efficiency of moving things by train. But I'm sure a lot of you have doubts about that, so I won't get into it. I just wanted to primarily focus on, yes, the Tesla Semi has a weight issue that we don't know about until the production model starts coming out and we can officially get some numbers on it. But I'll just emphasize the fact on the website that it says under 2 kilowatts per mile, not necessarily 2 exactly. And they were hitting under 2 kilowatts per mile in 2017. So if they're doing more testing, Elon already said the range of the Semi is closer to 600 miles now. As the production model beats the prototype, I bet the efficiency of these trucks could be much lower. And it's very possible that we won't need a 1 megawatt hour battery pack for the long range Semi. They could probably get by with 850 kilowatt hours, which is still heavy, but significantly less than a lot of people are estimating. So again, we'll see in time, but I still think the Tesla Semi is ripe for disrupting the market, even if it can't carry as much as a diesel truck. But you shouldn't listen to what I have to say either, because I'm no semi-truck driver. I barely drive my own car. So feel free to hit me up over on Twitter, join my Discord, and tell me all the reasons I'm wrong. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.